live, laugh.
How's it going, everybody? This is Daniel. I am joined by, and we're gonna clear this up right now. Is it J.A.C? Is it Jack? For those who don't know, for those who need to know, enlighten us, please.
It's all of it. I think it's up to interpretation because I don't particularly care what people call me. I think at the beginning, when I first started, I got called Jesse so many times, my real name, and I wanted to just be Jack. And because of my Facebook, because I kept my Facebook as my real name because I didn't want to change it because I still had it from the MMA stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to change it. And like I had like 8 or 9 shows at the beginning where they kept calling me Jesse. So I was like, I'll just do my initials, Jesse Alexander Carter. You can call me Jack. You can call me Jesse Alexander Carter. You can call me J.A.C.
Yeah.
I do the J.A.C. more now because I like to do it in my promos, especially.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's kind of caught on, you know. But besides that, I don't care.
We asked TDT this, but who is your Mount Rushmore of initial wrestlers like RVD? There's a ton of them I can't think of now, but
oh god, RVD, MJF. He's doing phenomenal work right now.
Yeah.
God, who else? His initials.
JBL.
Oh God, yeah. Hey, that's some of my favorite heel work.
Yeah.
Who else? I don't know. Then me. We'll just throw me up there. Why not?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's a pretty good monument. I think people would pay to have their picture taken in front of it.
Yeah.
But before we dive in, now that people know what to call you and what not to call you, where can people find you? Do you have any shows coming up? This will probably come out next Wednesday. So
I'll be next weekend. Well, I guess Wednesday, whatever, this weekend. I'll be at Imperial Pro, and then I'll also be at PWL. I'll be wrestling. Is it Ron Mathis? Yeah. Ron Mathis.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then just to kind of shout out a show that we're also working on November 18th, a little bit of ways out. You'll be at Dominant Championship Wrestling. That'll be a cool show. That's a different crowd.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm wrestling Trey. Ain't that right? I'm wrestling Trey on that show.
I have no idea, but if you are, that's gonna be a good match.
Yeah, I'm gonna smack the crap out of him.
Yeah, I think he'll slap you back. But it'll definitely be a good match. So, speaking of matches, speaking of wrestling, this is a wrestling podcast. First, do you have a favorite Taylor Swift song?
Yeah, it has a lot to do with God. What's that one where she does like the rap that The Rock did on the one what is it called? The lip sync battle. I'm trying to think of what it's called.
Shake It Off.
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay. Yeah. I just had to go to like the movie version of her concert with my wife this past Friday, so still fresh on the brain. Yeah, this is why people watch our podcast, for that information.
For Taylor Swift, because she's not taking over the NFL and killing my poor 49ers enough.
Yeah, that was a rough game this past week.
Yeah, I mean, I wish because I like the Chiefs enough, but like I'm a 49ers fan right now. I don't really have like a team.
Mm-hmm.
I like switch between teams every season because I just like the sport. I used to be a diehard Carolina Panthers fan, but Cam Newton ruined that for me. And so like since then I float. I'm a floater. Yeah. And I just I like certain players. Like I'm really heavy on Christian McCaffrey right now, which he just got hurt, which sucks. Yeah. So, the Chiefs are cool. 49ers are cool. The Eagles, they look good too.
Yeah, my wife's family's from Philadelphia, so I'm a Colts fan. It's not a great time to be a Colts fan, so I've kind of jumped on the bandwagon of the Eagles. So it's been nice to have a team that wins. Speaking of winning, let's talk about wrestling, which is a match where you can win wrestling. But where does wrestling start for you? I apologize for that bad segue as well.
No, you're great. When I didn't start watching until I was around 12. My brother had got like the video game. My brother is younger than me, but he got the video game, and my dad had just got sick through that time. And so when my brother got the video game, he started watching it with my dad. And I always grew up with like, it's fake, it's bullshit. So I didn't really care. I can cuss on this, right?
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, it's fake. This crap sucks. So I didn't watch it. But then I saw when The Rock returned in 2011, right?
It sounds about right.
Yeah. When he returned, my dad was freaking out about it. I like The Rock from the movies. And so I went in there and I watched it. And that was like the only time I saw my dad smile during that time period.
Yeah.
And it made me have an emotional connection towards it. And ever since then, I loved it. I didn't miss The Rock SmackDown for, God, till I was like 19, maybe. And
Okay.
then I didn't watch it for a year or two. Then I got back into watching it real heavy. So
You were like diehard.
yeah, like every pay per view. You know, when SmackDown was on Tuesdays, I'd watch it on then. When when it would switch back to Fridays, that was cool too. You
Yeah.
know,
You mentioned being a big fan of The Rock. What are a few of your favorite Rock movies?
I like Fast Five a lot. Fast Five, the one where San Andreas, was that what it's called, where he's in the
A helicopter.
yeah, I like that
Yeah.
one a lot. Um, the Jumanji, both of them, I
Oh,
think those are phenomenal.
yeah, those are
Uh, when
great.
I was a when I was a kid, I loved the Tooth Fairy.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, I was a diehard Tooth Fairy fan.
That's gonna be a good clip.
Yeah, he clicked that. And then I hated Shazam. Not Shazam, Black Adam. I hated that movie. That was awful.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I haven't heard very many good things about it.
It's not good. No.
Yes, like Walking Tall was one.
Phenomenal movie.
The
Yeah.
Rundown, like early Rock stuff for me, just fun. Like anytime you see The Rock in a movie, you know it's not going to be the best movie, but like you're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
Um, and so you said that you dove into wrestling, like that you were attracted to The Rock, but like what other characters were you kind of like drawn into at that time?
Um, During that time period, Brock Lesnar returned like a year later, and I already knew him from the UFC because I watched MMA my whole life.
Yeah,
And yeah, I was heavily drawn into him. That whole Triple H feud that he had with him at the beginning, man, I ate on everything they did. I was over at a party at my aunt's, and we were all watching it. And this is the moment I kind of knew I wanted to do it.
uh-huh.
And it's when Triple H was selling his arm after he got his arm broke from the Kimura. And that moment right there, I was like, and I watched how my aunt was reacting because she kept going, "Oh, he's really hurt. He's really hurt." I thought, I really want to do this because it just seemed awesome to me that you could make anyone feel that way about something, you know. And like MMA does that, but not like on an emotional level like that did. Because you
Yeah,
get invested in these characters. Like you get invested. Like don't get me wrong, you can get invested in MMA fighters too. But like with wrestling, you really because you see them on a week to week basis,
yeah,
you know, especially on television. And so like with those characters, they're larger than life and they draw you in. And so people like Brock Lesnar, Triple H, The Undertaker, CM Punk, I was a huge fan of when I was a kid. Um, yeah, and then Ryback, I liked that during the time period too. I don't, whatever now, but during the time period, yeah, I thought he was awesome.
yeah. So you mentioned that you've been watching MMA all your life. Do you contribute that to like one of the reasons why you're like, oh, this is fucking dumb? Like when you first like were introduced to wrestling?
Yeah, because I like, just the difference, and I grew up in a in a wrestling gym, an MMA gym, an amateur wrestling gym, and so like I was growing up where like that was taught like it's not cool, you know, and so I really never really talked much about my professional wrestling life, even when I started to like it there because you
Yeah,
kind of get picked on, you know.
yeah. Did you catch flack for it like when you first started to do it?
Yeah, yeah, a lot. But we had Dan Severn came to the gym
Oh,
one
cool.
day, and that changed everybody's perspective on it. And they all love that I do it now, actually, because gym was the same one I fought under. It was combat
Mhm.
athletics, and it was in Moxville, but now it's in an advance
Okay.
and NC, and they are huge fans of everything I do now. But like at the time period, yeah, like when I was like 11, 12, 10, it wasn't the cool thing.
So you were like training MMA when you were like 10.
I started doing jiu-jitsu when I was 13, but I did amateur wrestling my whole life.
Okay.
It was an MMA gym. But I started doing amateur wrestling when I was about really young. And then I did jiu-jitsu when I was 13, did Muay Thai when I was 14. And then I already had the amateur wrestling background, so it all transitioned over.
Yeah. What is like is it more fun, would you say, to like kick somebody at like full strength? Like do you ever like miss it? Like, just be like, oh, I wish I could just like really fucking kick this person.
Well, there's a couple of times I've done it, but but no, I mean, no. I like. I always liked being in front of a crowd, even when I did amateur wrestling. That was my high, was getting reactions, and like you don't get that in MMA like you do in wrestling because I can control it. You know,
Yeah,
whether the stupid people that are the fans know it or not, I control them the entire time I'm out there, whether they like it or not. I feel like I have them in the palm of my hand the whole time, and I convey my story and how I'm wanting to perceive everything in that environment, and it makes me feel good. You know,
yeah,
whether it's me winning, whether it's me losing, I feel really good when I'm out there. I've never had a high like that in my life.
yeah. So, at what point you said you stopped watching wrestling? Like, what kind of caused you to stop watching wrestling?
I got in a really like toxic relationship, and for about 2 years, and she was not a fan of wrestling,
Yeah,
and I stopped doing MMA during that time period too, um, and I gained about 100 pounds, and I got really depressed, and I started drinking a lot, and because of that person, I think is why I work as hard now, but
mhm,
it was just rough. I worked construction from freaking 6 o'clock to about 9. So like, I was tired every day because I had a job I hated, and I had a girl I did not care for at all. But I felt like I had to be in that environment because I didn't feel like I had anything
mhm.
because I broke the orbital bone in my right eye in MMA and I had to be out for a year. And so like having that time frame, not being in anything, and I've
Yeah,
been in the gym my whole life for like 10 plus 12 hours because in high school all I had was amateur wrestling and MMA. And I focused all my energy into that. And so going from that into that environment where it's just toxic and someone's telling you you're not good enough and they're calling you fat and they're not being very positive towards you in that nature. Like I don't have no ill will towards that person now because I've forgave, for everything that happened because I'm happy. Everything happens for a reason in my opinion.
yeah.
Um,
Like,
I'm a very Christian person. I'll say that on here. I normally don't talk about my faith, but I'm very Christian heavy, and I believe Jesus makes everything happen for a reason.
yeah,
And because of if I didn't have all that hard stuff in that time period, I would not be wrestling because I went from that, and then I tried to do MMA again, and I lost 70 pounds, but then I got freaking I got a stomach virus in my stomach to where I was in the hospital because of it, because I'd lost too much weight too quickly. And then, but I was dating this person at this time, and this was after the one girl.
okay,
So I was dating this person this time, and her sister was dating a wrestler named Mason Matthews, which
okay.
is Blake Weevil. He's a cop in Davie County now.
Mhm.
But he told me about the AML Pro Wrestling Trainer Center. And when I got like sick, I'd always wanted to do wrestling. I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't really know much about the indies. And he goes, just go try it. You would like it. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to. So I got me and David Parrish. We
Mhm.
went over to the AML Pro Wrestling Training Center. We started training.
So you guys started together. You were, I'm guessing you were friends before that?
Like I didn't see David for during like that hard time period for at least since like we graduated high school, and I didn't see David again for like 4 years.
Mhm.
So then I started hanging out with Devin, who's a ref, Devin Bright. He's a
Okay.
ref now, but he started wrestling, and they actually lived together, and that's how I saw David again. And we always it was like nothing had changed. We
Yeah,
were just back at it again.
yeah. And did you guys like? Were you like wrestling friends when you were like in high school?
Yeah, we both wrestled for Davie County.
But sorry, but like fans of wrestling. Like, did you
Oh
guys?
yeah, like he was one of the few people I could talk about it.
Yeah, and I think
Devin especially because Devin, if you ever, I don't know, have you met Devin?
I'm not sure.
Anyway, you'd love Devin,
Yeah.
but he's the biggest wrestling fan. He has autism,
Mhm.
but like his like thing with it is he focuses everything on wrestling. He knows every fact about wrestling, and I love that because that was somebody I could always talk to. I
Yeah.
about got in a couple of fights because of Devin in high school too, because I love him so much. But
Yeah.
like so like that, and then there was David, me, Devin, and David. We always hung out. We always talked about wrestling in high school.
Yeah. I think that's like, as a wrestling fan, until you have somebody to talk about wrestling with, you never realize like how lonely it can be to be a wrestling fan because
Mhm.
a lot of times like you may not even be like wanting to talk about it because like there's such this stigma behind it. So like Christian who hosts this with me, like when I met him and we kind of talked about wrestling, it's like a game changer because it's no longer like this is something I do on the side that I'm afraid to tell people about. You've got this like super bond um, that you kind of like bonded to this person, and then you kind of start this wrestling journey with them as well. So, what was like that first day like of AML? You said right.
Yeah.
So, what was your first day like? Who was training back then there?
Josh Gary was training for the first day that I was in there,
Uh,
and it was a lot different. It was harder than I thought it would be. I'm gonna be honest with you.
yeah,
I expected it to be easy because I was already had an athletic background,
yeah,
and I got in there and I'm awkward. I'm not very athletic. Like everything I've ever had, I've had to work to be athletic for. I'm definitely a white country boy by nature, so there's no jumping, there's no running. I'm just not. That's just not who I am.
yeah,
So like running how to hit the ropes and learning how to do up and overs and learn how to take bumps and stuff. Because like I was taught my whole life to like stop yourself from taking a bump and then like forcing yourself to go onto the ground. Like that was a completely different thing to me. So
yeah,
the transition in the beginning was really tough. Like, but since I had watched it my whole life too, though, I kind of knew like how to position myself into the moves. Like some of the trainings we get now, they don't. They maybe some of the guys I can tell who's watched it their whole life and who can't, who hasn't. Because when they go in there, they just don't get it. I'm like, brother, you know, like you had to have seen like a tackle on TV, you know, or just a simple like freaking lockup. It's like if I have to explain a lockup to you 1,000 times how to do a lockup, like you can't really tell me you've watched wrestling your whole life.
yeah, yeah. Of course, I think like in with watching wrestling also comes with like wrestling with your siblings or like testing out moves, like bringing the mattress out in the living room or doing stuff on the trampoline. Like, um, definitely very unique to a wrestling fan's journey. Um, so your first day, Josh, is it Jerry or Gary? It's Gary,
Gary,
right?
yeah,
Okay, I don't know why I said Jerry. Like it's like the GIF thing.
yeah.
But what was it like? Like, was there any moment you're like, "Wow, this is kind of sucks. I don't want to do it," or is this just like as soon as you took your first bump, you were like hooked?
Oh no, the moment I got in the ring, I was like, oh, this is what I was supposed to do my whole
Yeah,
life. Like it was not even shock. It was like that was the most fun I had had, and it was learning something new, which I love to do. I love trying new things, and it was a new experience, and it was fantastic. And I knew from the moment I said this is what I should have been doing because I wanted when I was 18, me and a buddy in high school were like looking at Firestar actually.
yeah,
And we were talking about it, and it just never happened, you know. And then I just forgot about anything to do with wrestling for a while because I was like, I always thought like, okay, I'll go to the UFC. When I get to the UFC, I'll be like Brock Lesnar. I'll just go to WWE.
yeah, yeah,
And I thought that was like the way to do it. I thought that was like
mm,
I'll make money, you know, and I'll be a big star.
yeah,
But no, like especially like studying like indies now. I'm glad I'm doing this way, you know,
oh,
because well, me and Claire, we have a bunch of old tapes of like old CZW, old Ring of Honor, like the beginning stuff.
mm,
So yeah, that's my stuff now.
yeah. So when you first started training, like, did you know what kind of wrestler you wanted to be, or were you just trying to figure out what you were doing first, or did you have like something in mind?
I always go off of the thing that Stone Cold Steve Austin said: just be yourself. Turned up to 11.
Yeah.
I'm a very very competitive like cornhole player,
Okay.
which is crazy. But I get like I talk a lot of shit when I'm playing cornhole,
Uh-huh.
and so like my whole character is based off of me when I'm playing cornhole.
That's
Literally,
incredible.
yeah.
So
Because my mom even said, because if I make my parents mad and I make my wife now mad, you know, while I'm playing, my friends mad while I'm playing
yeah,
cornhole, you know, like, come on, you know,
it's yeah,
got something there.
yeah. What are some of your go-to like cornhole insults?
I don't know. It's just
Just
stuff in the
come out.
moment. It's the same way I'm in the ring. You know, I just react to whatever's going on.
Yeah. And have you ever thought about much like wrestling, taking cornhole professionally?
No, I don't think I'm that good, but I
Okay.
do enjoy doing it.
um, I have you seen the video of the bowler? Like, there's a few bowlers that like they talk shit like they're in the NFL.
Oh yeah.
Um,
strike to claim it. And he got it!
I did it! Number 5! Are you kidding me? That's right! Who do you think you are? I am! Get it right!
Who you think you are? I am. But yeah, like I think like that is like the epitome of shit talking. And if you can incorporate that in the ring, you're doing some good stuff. And like you said, if you can make your mom mad at you, imagine what you could do to the fans. So you're starting wrestling. Your character is just kind of you turned up to 11. When do you have your first match, and like, who is that against?
Out of my first match, how was it? 3 or 4 months in, and it was at a bar show, and it was against Will Bannon. Was
Okay.
his name, deathmatch wrestler, and it was not good, but I mean, it's nothing against Bannon. It just wasn't. It was one of my first match. I was not going to be good, but yeah, my first battle royal was about 2.5 months in, and it was raining outside, and it was at the same bar show. Mike Ramsey used to run it, but I don't really like him. But it was raining outside, and Big Noel, the Black Cane, got thrown into the turnbuckle, and the turnbuckle flung off.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and it's funny that because me and Noel we both did extra work for SmackDown back in January together, and we were talking. And it was funny just like looking at that was both of our first battle royals, and then we were at SmackDown together. I was like,
It's crazy.
It's crazy because it was only like a 2.5 year change, you know.
Yeah, Noel is we've had him on. He's a cool dude, kind of unique dude.
Yeah, he is
definitely a big fucking dude, though. I don't think anybody.
He's huge.
Yeah,
I don't feel short to a lot of people. I feel tiny to him.
Yeah,
you know?
I tweeted this today. Like, I'm 6'2.5", and there's seldom times where people are taller than me, but whenever somebody's taller than me, I just don't trust them.
Yeah,
like they've got something going. Yeah, I'm just like, I don't like what you got going. Yeah,
but I'm 6'4", and I'm like looking up, like, oh man, I hate that.
Yeah, it's like there's no way I should be looking up to you right now. But yeah, Noel's awesome. So your first bar show is Battle Royal, and then you have this match with Will Bannon. What is going through your mind before you, like, I don't know, it's a bar show. I don't know if there's the curtains, but like before you enter the room and kind of what's going through your head in that?
It was just I thought I'd be nervous, and I wasn't. I've never been nervous for a match. There's a thing that someone said, like, you shouldn't be doing this if you don't get nervous. Well, I never get nervous, and it's weird because I didn't get nervous when I fought either, which I always thought I would. But in my head, I was just thinking, I was just trying to remember what I had to do. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I have a crappy memory, so I'll be in the back just trying to think, what do I got to do? How do I got to get this match to where it's going to be really good and the fans can go home happy, you know?
And do you think the fans went home happy with that match?
I mean, I think those dumb fans did for sure. They were all a bunch of idiots, but I did not. I mean, I thought it was great at the time. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever, you know? But like, I went back and watched some of my old stuff recently just for fun, and that was awful.
What song are you coming out to for that first match?
Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi.
Okay. Yeah. I'm guessing that's changed.
Yeah, I got my custom stuff now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, at what point are you walking out of Wanted Dead or Alive? Because it kind of like winds up a little bit. Are you one of those guys that's making people wait to see you, or?
I made them wait, and I'm such an asshole for it. You know, I hate that. Now I really hate longer than like 10 seconds. 15 seconds, you should be out of the curtain.
Yeah.
Because then no one cares. They're going to be on their phones, you know?
Of course.
Because you got like 7 seconds to make an impression on somebody. And if you don't make an impression on them in 7 seconds, they're not going to care. And they're all going to be on their phone for the rest of the match.
Yeah. This kind of reminds me of something James Ryan said. George South recently wrestled Joey Janela for AML.
It was beautiful.
And yeah, he said that he pitched to him, instead of wrestling, he should have just come out to the 7-minute version of Don't Stop Believin'. And just made a 7-minute entrance and then just walked right back out.
I'm sure George would have loved and preferred that too.
I think he told him. Yeah, I think he told him. But that just kind of made me think about that. But yeah, I'm definitely not a huge fan of like just having to sit there and just like, well, are they going to come out? Like, well, I guess it's time to just check Twitter and everything. So
Yeah.
I always like to ask because sometimes it's kind of surprising. At what point do you feel like what was the moment that you felt like you belonged in the ring? Like, were you like, I belong to be here? I deserve.
I definitely I had my tryout with WWE, and right after that first match, it was literally the week afterward, and so I talked to Samoa Joe, and he was telling there was three of us. We were asking him questions at the end of the tryout, and we all asked him. We said, "What should we do if we ever get this opportunity next time?" And he goes, "You just got to remember that it ain't about anybody else in here. You got to think about." And he points to Drew McIntyre. He goes, "You got to look at that mother. I ain't gonna say that word on here. That mother effer right there." And he said, "You got to be better than him." He said, "You got to go after that guy because that's who you should compete with. Not all these other guys that are standing around here, but that guy right there."
Yeah.
And Drew McIntyre was literally like 5 feet in front of us. He heard the whole conversation.
Yeah.
But at the time, Drew was the WWE champion. He was a big deal. And I took that away, and ever since then, like I've kind of made my strive with that. I just I always think of that before I walk through the curtain, like literally every time. Because if Samoa Joe tells you something, you gotta listen.
Yeah, for sure.
The king of the Indies for a reason.
Yeah. So you were at the same tryouts at Noel. Is that that's about
No, I was at the 2021 Las Vegas tryout.
Okay, walk us through what that is like. Like, how did you get that opportunity, and then what was it like finding out about it?
My second MMA fight, I fought on NBC Sports. So, because I had a really good amateur background, so a lot of, from amateur wrestling, so a lot of that, because I was an All-American in high school, so like that transitioned over into my MMA stuff. So I got some opportunities with that, and so I had that on my resume, and I got picked up because of that, because I felt like the athletic background, because I hadn't done wrestling for a long enough time at that point. Actually, the funny story, and then I'll get into like what goes on there.
Yeah.
When I was working construction still at the time, when I got the email for the dirty tryout, and I was pissing in a floor john, and I looked down. I got the ding ding for like the email, and I looked down at my phone, and it said it had WWE on the email. And I did like a double take because I don't have like their subscriptions or nothing for like email. Yeah. It's just so I did a double take, and then I clicked on the link and I read it. Still had my junk out and everything, and I said, "Holy shit!" And I like closed up the thing. I was like zipping up my crotch at the same time. I started running around the construction site saying, "I'm gonna be a WWE superstar." And actually, I quit that job literally before that tryout too. This is my sign. This is God telling me something,
Yeah. So you get the call. You said the tryout's in Vegas.
Yeah.
So
yeah. They fly you down there. We got to stay at the MGM Grand for 3 nights, which was really cool because I had never been on a plane before. And it's just, I'm not gonna go into too much details because I don't know how much I can say. Yeah. But it's the most like vigorous cardio exercise. I'd say it's the 3rd hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Okay.
The first was my depression. The second was that weight cut, and then it was this.
Okay. And
that was just freaking. You just gotta. They just want to see if you're gonna quit. That's all they're trying to do. But it was cool. I had purple bruises all up and down my back. But that was the coolest experience of my life.
Yeah.
One of them at least. Because I got to talk to Triple H, William Regal for a while. I loved Regal, and Samoa Joe. Timothy Thatcher was at my tryout. He was one of the coaches.
Yeah.
And then Omos was there too. Omos is the tallest human being I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. Talk about someone you don't trust.
Yeah, his neck's the longest thing I've ever seen. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Should be a dinosaur.
Was he trying out or was he?
No, he was just there.
Okay, just hanging out.
Yeah, because SummerSlam was that weekend.
Okay, so there was a lot of people.
Yeah.
What was it like? Because I know you mentioned like the feud with Brock Lesnar and Triple H. What was it like when you got to like just like shoot the shit or like ask questions with Triple H?
I didn't get to talk too much with. I got to talk a little bit, but not like a vigorous, long conversation. But just meeting him because like growing up and like he was one of my heroes, and meeting him was surreal, you know. And he's definitely like a man I want to work for one day because his mind for this business is incredible.
Was there anybody else in the tryout that like people might recognize, like either having like made it or doing other things in the business?
Nikita Lyons, she was in that tryout.
Oh, cool.
She got it. A couple of the guys that just got released in this last release from NXT, they were at that tryout. That Quincy guy, he had the he's a bigger guy and he had a different gimmick, but he had like the gimmick where he would like grab his tits and like hit him with it in the corner or whatever. But
it sounds
yeah,
like yeah.
Yeah, he was at that tryout. Edris, what's his last name? I actually like him a lot. He was at that tryout. He's still with them.
Yeah.
And then a referee got signed too that day.
Nice.
And he's actually done stuff with Survivor Series and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what was your takeaway like after that? Like how far into wrestling were you at that point?
4 months, 4 or 5 months, you know? Yeah.
When you came back to AML, did you feel like you were hot shit, or like how did you feel after that tryout?
I felt I think like you have to ask certain people, but I definitely I think I stepped up my work ethic a lot. I think took it a lot more serious because I knew what I wanted, you know. And it wasn't like I wasn't taking it serious before because I lost a lot of weight for the tryout.
Yeah.
But especially like then I was like, okay, I started doing like even at my shoot job, I was doing like 200 push-ups every day and like 300 sit-ups, and I lost way too much weight. I was really skinny for a while because of that crap. But I just wanted to be, you know, there. So all my focus went to that. And I was very opinionated during that time period. So I know I rubbed some people the wrong way at the beginning. But now it's different, you know. Yeah. But definitely during that time period, it was just I was very, very passionate about how I think things should be done, you know. And I still am to a degree about that stuff, but I just don't voice it because I just don't care about drama.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely wrestling, a lot of different ways you can go about it. I could definitely see certain ways, maybe potentially as politically as I could say this, rubbing somebody the wrong way. But so you go from that tryout, and then you said the moment that you felt was when you were talking to Samoa Joe at your last SmackDown appearance. So kind of in between then, what's going on as far as your career? Like, are you traveling more? Like, how frequently are you wrestling? Like, kind of talk us through that.
At the time, I was getting in the car every weekend. I was just trying to get on a show, you know. And that was the first year. I think everybody who's starting off in that first year, you got to do that. Get in the car, find somebody that's on a show, go get matches.
Yeah.
You know, and that first year, I had already 100 matches under my belt because I was getting in the car every weekend. Yeah. You know, I was at Firestar. I was at stuff in Pennsylvania a lot during that time period. I was doing the Genesis shows with AML. I was doing AIWF. I was just trying to make a name for myself, but also like earn Booker's trust. You know, that goes a long way. Whether people want to admit that or not, it does. And just try to be as respectful as I can to the people that have done it before me, especially because I think that goes a long way too. I don't think enough guys do that and respect the older guys. I don't know, like the guys have done it for like 20 plus years, like the George Souths, you know, like those guys. Because without those guys, who the hell am I? You know, I ain't ever wrestled Ric Flair, you know. And like George has done it this whole time. I'll tell you something. There's nobody in this world I respect more than that man. Yeah. He is, in my opinion, one of the greatest of all time because he's the best he's ever done now.
Yeah.
The best he's ever had in his whole career is the current stuff he's doing. Like, it's amazing. He just started doing death matches to like 3 years ago. You know? Yeah. He just wrestled Nick Gage last year at WrestleCade. So
yeah. He's probably the person that comes up the most. Like we had Ruthless Lala on. She's based out of New York. We came across a George South story with her. Like, she's not even from here. Like, George South has touched so many people in this business, and he's still like before Firestar, everybody's story was, well, we looked up wrestling schools and it was George South. So like not only training people, but like influencing people and Super great guy.
Oh God, I get a text message from him once a week telling me he's praying for me, and
Yeah.
it warms my heart. You know, it really does.
Yeah, I also have never seen Rob Killjoy's up there, but anybody that works the merch table harder.
Rob works that merch table. Rob,
Yeah.
you gotta give him some credit for that merch table. Like he
Oh,
has
yeah.
that whole the gimmick just set out.
Yeah. Like if there is space for a table, Rob Killjoy would have one set up. But I think at is at an AML show recently, and like George South was selling like hockey jerseys.
Yeah, he got
It's like
everything.
anything and everything. It's like a flea
He got his
market.
whole little flea market over there.
Yeah. George South is great.
Mhm.
This is kind of we could segue into this, but was it recently that you got to wrestle him?
Yeah, I wrestled him back in July.
Okay, so what was that like? Walk us through that moment when you found out you were going to get to do it, and kind of what the match was actually like.
I had been begging to do that match now for a year, and I'd pitched so many ideas to do that match in different companies because that was a dream match of mine, and I think that actually helped me get a lot of bookings recently. I got a lot of trust with people because of that match. But but in the back, I'm just nervous because it's just like I want to do. I was nervous for this because I wanted to perform. I just wanted to make him proud because I did not care about anybody else's opinion when it came to that match. I just wanted him to be happy with that match.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was, and that was the biggest blessing. So yeah, that match was special for me.
What is the preparation for a match with George South like? Is he just like we'll take care of it when we get out there, or how much?
Yeah, you can go out there and you're gonna do your thing with him. You know, that's all it is. And I like that style.
Yeah.
Because I'm training with the Beer City Bruiser at AML,
Mhm.
and I've been doing that now for about a year and a half. Which he's the best trainer in North Carolina. I've been to almost every school there is in North Carolina. If you're not going to AML and training with Beer City Bruiser, he's been on TV, and he's phenomenal. I cannot recommend it enough. My game has stepped up from here to freaking up here since I started training with him. And but we train call in the ring all the time, like literally at least once or twice a week. So like that, I was not as nervous because I've done it now, you know. Now, a year before that, I would have been shitting myself. You know?
Yeah. So you have the match with George, and is it safe for me to say like you're kind of like you're hitting your stride now? Like I think like over the past 6 months, maybe even before that, like J.A.C is kind of jumping onto the scene. Not that you weren't there before, but like you're now kind of like it's kind of like James Ryan is right now, or like where he's kind of like reaching that point where like everybody like I would say that like you knew that you could be there, but it just kind of waits for like opportunity. Or there's a quote where it's like preparation meets opportunity, and I think that you're at that point where you're kind of getting to see some of the benefits of your hard work. So what has that been like for you recently? Sorry, that was a fucking lot to say.
No, that's great. It's awesome. It's something that I've wanted now for a long time. You know, it felt like a lot of hard work went into something, and I'm getting the matches I've been begging for. I'm in a wonderful tag team now, Abuse of Power with Zuka King at AML, and we're getting great matches off of that. We had a banger a month ago with Bojack and Diego Hill, where it was just that's one of the best matches we ever put on. Then I just wrestled James at Future Stars, and sure, the asshole beat me, but that match was special.
Yeah,
that was what you would want in a match like that. So, I can't say enough about him. He's great. Whether I call him asshole or not, but you know he's great. And then just I wrestled O'Shea. You know, I got to be in the ring with Eric Redbeard. I wrestled Beer City back in June twice. I actually wrestled his last 2 matches before his surgery.
Yeah.
We did a barroom brawl match at AIWF. We wrestled 45 minutes.
Oh shit.
And freaking, we both were bleeding like hell, you know. And that's one of my favorite matches I've ever done. And then we did the big fatal 4-way match where him and Malonis, the Dawsons, BK and Eric Royal and me and Zuka. And that match was good. So it's been awesome. I can't express that enough. I hope it keeps going this way because I feel like I'm doing everything right.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. It really is.
So we're assuming this is going to keep going. We're manifesting it, as Tim would say. Who are some of the people over the next, like, it feels weird to say 2024, but 2024, who are some of the people that you'd like to get in the ring with?
I want to smack Drew Hood in the face. I think that'd be fun. I really want to wrestle Drew Hood. That's a match I think that's been needed to happen for a while.
Yeah.
I want to wrestle Matt Tremont. Whether it's a death match or it's just a regular match, I really want to, because I went with Colby to H2O for one of Colby's last indie shows before he went up to the family. Now he's back.
Yeah.
But and I watched him wrestle Matt Tremont, and no one tells emotion like him.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that about deathmatch wrestling until I saw that match. And I've never like experienced like that level of emotion because I've outcried and I don't cry, you know. And I was like, wow, like, yeah, I want to wrestle him before he retires. Let's see, there's some other people that. Oh, I really want to wrestle Jake something.
Okay, yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, I think me and him could put on a crazy match. That's why I've been trying to gain weight because I want to look the same as him.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's great. I want to wrestle Suzuki. That's a goal of mine. I don't know how it's going to happen. He does very few indie bookings. So that's a huge goal of mine. And that's a goal for next year.
Yeah.
So I want to manifest that now.
Yeah.
And who else? There's one more guy on the indies that are in this area that I want to wrestle bad. I ain't got to wrestle Kozon yet. I don't know why. I'd love to smack Kozon too. That's been a long time coming. So I'd like to wrestle Kozon.
Yeah. He's talking about a guy that's hitting his stride. He's doing some cool stuff these days, which is awesome.
Yeah, stuff on DVW has been really good. I've been watching some of it. Yeah.
Couldn't happen to a better guy.
Oh, and I want to wrestle Movie Mike.
Oh yeah.
Hardest one of the hardest workers I know. I haven't seen Movie in a year either, and I hate that. But and because we just haven't been on the same shows. But I really want to. I'd like to do some. I think me and him could put on a movie. You know.
Yeah. Awesome. I want to briefly touch on. So you are married to Clara. What is it like being married to a wrestler? Like, does that change things when you guys are both wrestling? Because I know that sometimes, like, it can be tough on the family, but if you guys are both on the road, I imagine that makes it a little easier.
It's easy. I thought it was going to be really difficult, but it's not. It's a lot easier, actually. I tried to date people in this, and it didn't work. With her, it's every day's like a little piece of heaven, you know. This has been the greatest time of my life, being with her. And if she makes me work harder, she literally broke her foot like 3 weeks ago at PWF.
Yeah.
And we were in the gym together, you know, today. So, like, I don't know anybody who works harder than her, you know, and I've never met a woman that works as hard as she does. And we both push each other. Because, like, if I got to go do a booking in another state, she's got to go do a booking in a different state, we both get it. We talk to each other the whole ride over there, and we got to do the booking. We come back home.
Yeah.
You know? I like it a lot more. I think I like the people that say, "Oh, don't date in the business," whatever. I agree with that with some people. Like, they definitely shouldn't because it just causes drama. But like with us, we both were not named or anything. We both met each other, so we came from humbler beginnings, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think now that we're married, like, and we're both kind of making a little bit of a name for ourselves now in the game. I think it's just it's went a long way now.
Yeah.
You know? She's great. She's the best women's wrestler in North Carolina by far, in my opinion. She should be wrestling Savannah Evans right now. She should be wrestling every indie darling woman name there is, because when she gets signed, because she's going to get signed and probably soon, like, people miss out on their opportunity. So if you're watching this and you're a booker, book my wife because she's great. I'm a big fan of, and my wife will tell you this, of women are the same as men.
Yeah.
I'm all for equality. And if you don't treat it like that, because too many people see women's wrestling as a gimmick, and it's not a gimmick in my eyes. It's supposed to be a sport. So if you treat it as this is just a way for you to sleep around, I don't really respect you. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And my wife's not that way. My wife takes this very seriously. She busts her ass, and it pisses me off because I know how hard she works, and I don't know why she should be in the ring with some of these people that don't deserve her time. You know?
Totally fair.
Yeah.
Would you ever want to like have a match with her? I know that like Caleb Conley and Chris Statlander had a match together that was really good.
We actually did a gender reveal for the first. We wrestled each other for the first time. God, Claire, how long was that? Okay, good talk. When we wrestled. Like 25 minutes, I think. No, when was it? Oh, like 2 months ago. 2 months ago.
You guys wrestled at a gender reveal.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, I've seen a few of these. Like one person wears like blue and one person wears pink, and then predetermined based off of the test results. What is it like? Like, is that somebody you knew, or is that somebody that kind of hired you to do it?
It was Damon Bryce. He's
Okay.
one of the AML trainees.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you know him.
Yeah.
And yeah, we wrestled for him. We didn't have none of the blue, I was the guy, she was the girl.
Okay, that makes a little more sense now that you say that. Yeah.
Yeah, but we just put on the biggest spot show type match we could think of. And we wrestled for about 25 close to 30 minutes, just teasing the hell out of the entire match he was going to go over.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Who won? Who is it? A boy or a girl? I guess will be the.
It's a boy. I power drive the crap out of my life.
That's awesome. You speaking of more people needing to know your wife. Who are some other wrestlers that you think more people should know about? Whether it's North Carolina, East Coast, West Coast, just
yeah. Logan Quindale. He is finally getting some matches that he deserves, and he's on a hot streak right now. And he works extremely hard. He's been doing it for a while now, and he does not get enough respect on his name. So Logan Quindale, Agile Khan, I think that's how you spell his last name. But Agile's phenomenal. He did a lot of like camera work for Superjaw, but man, he's gained 30 pounds recently too, and he's jacked as crap. I mean, and he can do some of the craziest athletic feats I've ever seen in my life, and he should definitely be booked a lot more than he is. David, you know, whether like right now I don't particularly care for him, but he because he's an ass, but he deserves to be booked a lot more places than he does because he's been doing it for a while too. Let's see who else. Manny Lowe. I think Manny Lowe's phenomenal. Me and him got the tag at PWF, and that was a lot of fun. Zuka, he like my tag partner at AML. Like he's great. You know, he's such an old school, in your mouth style heel, and the best seller I know. He's so good. Like, and he does not get his flowers enough. He really doesn't.
Not at all. Talk about like wrestling encyclopedias, though. That dude
knows everything.
Yeah.
Because me and him, like, we both love All Japan, and we'll just sit up and talk about 90s All Japan forever. Yeah. You know? So, let's see who else. I'm trying to think. Because I want to give everybody's name that deserves it. We got a new guy called Silver Fox at the training center. But he trained at the Nightmare Factory. And I have not seen a hard worker like him since Claire walked into the AML training center. And I think he's going to be somebody to look at. He's a little older, but he's definitely going to be somebody for people to keep their eye on soon. I think he should start getting some matches and some promotions because I think he has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And then I really enjoy wrestling Diego Hill. I think Diego Hill is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He is I have some of the most fun just wrestling him. I think he's great. James Ryan's phenomenal. TDT, I love wrestling Tevin. Yeah. There's more, and people are probably gonna be pissed, but it'll be okay. You know.
Yeah.
Go south.
Of course.
Like Mike. Oh God. Axton Lowe, Axton, and freaking Gustavo. God, they're great.
Yeah.
They're both phenomenal. Gustavo does not get his flowers. He's so good. So talented. I mean, there's not a bigger baby face in the world than him.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah. It was really cool to see him get to wrestle Nick Aldis and like kind of have some of these matches like that he deserves. I think he's wrestling at the next show. He's wrestling somebody big. Was it Jake Hager?
Yeah, he's wrestling Jake. Yep.
Yeah, so that'll be pretty cool. This is kind of a new question we've started asking. But what's the weirdest DM that you've ever gotten?
I got asked. Someone asked for me to like give them my like dirty underwear, which I think that's normal for wrestlers, but
yeah,
that was weird. My socks. People who wanted me to send nudes, feet pics. You know, I've got several invitations to go wrestle in people's rooms, and that's weird to me. You know, like that's okay. So yeah, that's kind of the strange stuff.
Yeah. I'm kind of, this is also new, but how much would it cost for you to go and wrestle in somebody's room? Like, what's a number that you would have to have
Not
before?
doing it.
Not doing it? Even,
No, I mean I'm not a money guy. There's a
okay.
lot of money people in this world. I'm doing well for myself currently because of my shoot job, but like even I've been homeless. I've been that. You
Yeah.
know, I don't need money. You
Yeah.
know, I'd be happy. I'm more about goals, and my goal is to get on TV. So like I'm not doing nothing to affect that.
Okay. So for all you weirdos, well, I'm not going to yuck anybody's yum, but for all those people interested in things, just stay out of
I'll
his.
call him the weirdo. It's weird as shit. Stop sending me stuff.
Awesome. This has been great. One more question that we usually ask, we haven't asked in a while, but for somebody that like has a strict gym regimen like you do you have like a go-to cheat meal?
Yes. God, Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Yeah, dude. I spend close to $40 every time I'm at Taco Bell because I just love it. The crunch wrap, the grilled steak burrito. They got this new burrito that has some bacon in it, and man, I chow down on that damn thing. I love the spicy potato soft tacos. I get like 2 or 3 of those. A Doritos Locos taco. I love the Baja Blast. It's my favorite drink in the world. Yeah.
For Baja Blast, do you think it's a sacrilege to have it outside of Taco Bell? Because
Yeah,
I know
I hate it in the bottle.
yeah,
I hate the bottle, and
not
I hate it in the can too. There's something about the fountain. I don't know what it's like. It's like McDonald's Coke.
yeah,
A drink of McDonald's Coke. My God, there's something about like both of those where
yeah,
it's different. You
yes.
know.
I'm gonna ask the next time you go to Taco Bell, you take a picture of us like The Rock, like his big breakfast. I just want to see the table with all of your Taco Bell. So,
I'll do it. I'll send it just to you.
okay.
And I forgot to name a couple of wrestlers because I just thought of them. I just want to make sure I name them because one of them will definitely tell me something because I give them shit all the time. Wayne Moxley.
Uh-huh.
I think he's phenomenal. If you haven't had him on your podcast yet, I think you'd benefit from him.
Yeah.
Clearly, my wife, because I didn't mention her for some reason.
Yeah.
But I put her over, I think, enough in this podcast.
Yeah.
But Toby Farley, and there's this newer guy, Bruiser Bob.
Uh-huh.
If you haven't seen Bruiser Bob's promos, go watch them. I highly recommend it. Bruiser Bob works really hard, and I think it's got a lot of potential. So, yeah.
Awesome. Got a lot of people to look into. Definitely love a good promo, so I'm excited to look at that. Before we go, where can everybody find you again on social media, and what kind of upcoming matches do you have that you want people to check out? Or is there a match that you would like? Let's say they don't know you. What's a match that you want people to go look at to kind of get to know you, what you're all about?
Yeah, whenever they finally released the James Ryan match, go watch that because that was good. Go watch Abuse of Power, me and Zuka King versus Bojack and Diego Hill. That was really good. Go watch my match against Beer City Bruiser at AIWF. That's another good one.
Okay, perfect. Yep. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me tonight. Love to have you back on at some point. Hopefully, we'll have to go through some lawyers to get you on by that point. Some
That'd be
legal
great.
teams. But yeah, this has been great. I hope you have a great night, and definitely check out J.A.C, Jesse Alexander Carter, or Jack, whichever you want to call him. But he is a bad man. I have bad pants, so we're gonna end this in a bad way. That was bad. So have a good night. Yeah.
See you guys. Thank you, man.